Hello, good evening, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar, Navigating the AI Revolution, Preparing Your Workforce for the Future of Work in Logistics and Supply Chain. I'm Vijay Joy. I'm delighted to be your moderator for this insightful discussion. I serve as the CEO of Regenesis Corporate Education India. Building, skilling a future-ready workforce is my job and also my passion. I have an over 20 years of experience spanning in edtech, banking, and telecom, and have been at the forefront of corporate education, government-led skilling, large initiatives, institutional training, and workforce development across India and beyond. It's my pleasure to host this critical discussion with an esteemed panel of HR leaders from the logistic and supply chain industry. As the topic says, AI and automation, it's completely revolutionizing the way we live, the way we work, the way we operate. And AI and automation is no longer a distant future. It's here. It's reshaping the way we work, the skills we need, and how we manage talent. A few facts I was just going through, very interesting. A traditional sector like logistic and supply chain, a labor-intensive sector, is experiencing a tectonic shift. In 2022 alone, China installed over 3 crore new industrial robots, and robot density in South Korea is the highest. For every 10,000 workforce employees, you have close to 1,200 robots installed. It's a very different world, very different, definition for inclusivity. Even the trucking industry is going through revolution. The fully automated, autonomous trucks are still developing, but it's going to impact 3.5 million professional truck drivers in US alone. We're going through some amazing transformation, some challenges, some questions which comes up. Questions like, how do we upskill and reskill employees for an AI-driven future? How can HR leaders balance automation with workforce ability? What are the new skills and roles emerging in this AI-powered landscape? To explore these questions, we have an outstanding panel of HR leaders who are at the forefront of managing this transformation in their organizations. Their insights will help us understand the world of impact of AI on workforce strategies, employee engagement, and talent transformation. So let's start introducing our esteemed panelists. We would like to welcome our thought leader, ladies first, Deepika Galot, Head HR Corporate at Genus Innovation Limited, with over 20 years of experience, a catalyst in HR strategies with deep expertise in workforce digitization, corporate HR policies, and leadership development. Today, we'll explore the impact of AI on talent acquisition, HR analytics, workforce engagement in the logistic and supply chain industry. She is also a very creative person, a writer, a blogger, loves writing articles and poetry. So if you want to follow, please do follow her on LinkedIn and other sources. Welcome, Deepika. Thanks for coming. Next, we have Shiv Rawat. Shiv Rawat is the Group ACHRO and VPHR at VS Trans India Limited. Shiv is an accomplished HR professional with over 29 years of diverse experience in logistics, supply chain, and e-commerce industry. He's a leader in AI-powered innovation, focusing on digital transformation and automation in logistics. He loves sharing his ideas, his experience on video blogs on LinkedIn. Many of his video blogs are viral. Please do visit his LinkedIn to learn from somebody who has been there and done it all. Thank you, Shiv. Thanks for being there. We have Nikhil. Nikhil has an experience of over 18 years in learning and development. Nikhil Bhojwani, Deputy General Manager, Learning and Development at Mumbai Metro One Private Limited. Nikhil has a strong background in talent development and upskilling with expertise in AI intensive learning strategies. Great to have you with us, Nikhil.
Thank you, Vijay.
Finally, we have Dr. Kiranpreet Kaur, Head of HR at shipglobal.in, a visionary HR leader. Dr. Kiranpreet specializes in leveraging AI to optimize talent acquisition and workforce planning. She will be sharing her expertise on how AI is redefining job roles, workforce agility, and operational efficiency in logistics. Welcome, Dr. Kiranpreet.
Hi, Vijay. Thank you so much for having me here.
Thank you. So, as you said, the transformation which AI and automation is bringing is creating a lot of new opportunities, and also there is a conscious requirement of people upskilling. So, Nikhil, my first question is to you. How is your company helping employees develop skills for an AI-driven industry at each level?
Right. So at Mumbai Metro One, our approach is to develop AI-ready skills at a very comprehensive level. So honestly, we conducted a lot of target training programs on prompt engineering and generative AI for multiple employees across levels. And keeping in mind that AI is an enabler, right? We can't completely depend on AI. It is essential to draft the prompts correctly using certain techniques like RSOT, role, situation, output, and tone. This is one of the techniques that I'm talking about. There are many more. Instead of randomly entering prompts. Now, this structured approach ensures that we get consistent and high quality outputs. Right. In addition to that, we also had training programs like PowerPoint using AI, Excel using AI, and these have been very successful in demonstrating practical applications, and that immediately enhance productivity as well. To ensure consistent skill development, we've invested in certification courses on generative AI. This has allowed our team members to learn about AI effectiveness and implement these tools in their daily work. For our frontline employees, we've implemented basic AI literacy programs that familiarize them with automation tools. This includes hands-on training with AI-enhanced customer service platforms and maintenance systems. We also keep sending our employees regularly for different workshops, seminars to enable them to learn new emerging technologies and AI-driven tools. So primarily the cornerstone of our strategy is supportive learning environment that ensures no one is left behind as we evolve with this AI technology. And that's about it.
Just a follow that very interesting, because the kind of workforce that you have at your organization is slightly different for a traditional corporate, right? So how do you see the adaptability of AI in your organization? Do you see at different levels people are using it differently, or some people don't want to use it at all? How do you see that?
Yeah, you always come across that. There are different target audiences, and I would say there are different age groups. There are different levels of people, and some may be very comfortable with technology. Some may not be very comfortable with technology. So when we start bringing in anything new, any new technology or AI for that matter, we have to ensure that we start from basics. So like I said, having a certification course on generative AI, or talking of prompt engineering, just basic tools on how to deliver prompts or how to craft prompts to get the correct output from any AI tool, for example, Claude, ChatGPT, or DeepSeek these days. Just helping them out, and not only having these conducted by external trainers, but doing it internally, step by step, gradually. I think that helps people gradually absorb this, instead of just forcing or coming up with a random session and then pushing them towards AI. That's not something that we believe in. So to tackle this kind of an audience, we need to go step by step.
Thanks, Nikhil. Deepika, my follow-up question is with you. What are the biggest challenges and opportunities AI presents for workforce management in your organization and industry as a whole?
Yeah, thank you so much, first of all, for the nice introduction, Viju. As far as about the opportunities and challenges, I would like to open up the topic with the opportunities. So that will give the opportunity to enhance the efficiency. When I'm saying the efficiency, it's moreover about the operational efficiency, which will allow to people to give the more concentration on the strategic design rather than go and invest their time in the operational day-to-day task. And definitely it will give the more robust process to the employees rather than go with the manual process adherence. It will give the by default process which you need to follow, and it will give the more clarity to them also. And definitely this is the data driven world, so whenever we are doing any decision making, that will be more impactful because we are taking the decision on the base of the data, and that will be give the more informed decision to us, and there will be a less debate from the any other side. And one more thing which the AI will give it to us, the increase the efficiency, because that will be give the very clear idea to the team. Yes, wherever we are going, this is the based on the some facts and figures. So that will be give the more automation and reduce the human errors. So that will be definitely giving the impact to the company in the AI driven organization. Challenges, I'm saying the moreover about the data privacy, because it's very much required to go with the compliances and the adherence of the regulations which is required for the data privacy from the government side, from the company production sides, because if the data will leak, it will be give the drastic impact on your business as well. It will be also give the challenges to skill upgradation, because kind of skills upgradations required. Different kind of skills will come up with a different kind of job roles which should be available in the market. Otherwise it will be very hard to go with the niche skills. And definitely if we are not getting the talent pool in the market, we need to go with the upskilling part within the organization with the existing employees, so we will not give the any kind of fear to them about their job insecurity. So that kind of challenges definitely which need to go up.
Fantastic. Deepika, we all understand how crucial is the operational efficiency. And I was just going through some data, and government is looking at reducing the cost by 40%, and through operational efficiency in logistics and supply chain. That means a drastic, reduction in the overall cost, which means the efficiencies of the SMEs improve, efficiency, we export more, so it is linked to the nation building. So that's how important it is, and people like you who understand that and who are implementing this, fantastic, kudos to you. Thanks, Deepika. Shiv, the next question is to you. uh, we have last 20 years we have seen skill gaps of a different kind, and now the skill gaps are coming because of a change which is happening, which is quite drastic. It's quite fast-paced change than the previous one. So, what are the biggest skill gaps you are seeing in logistics and supply chain as AI adoption increases?
So thank you, Viju, for the wonderful introduction, and welcome to all my colleagues, panelists here. AI has become a hot topic nowadays. Every other panel we discuss AI, and when it comes to in practical scenario, it is different. What we have heard and what we see in theory, right? Uh, Whether it is logistic industry or any other industry, today the need of the hour is to understand the AI, right? AI is going to be future. This is what is been projected. This is how it is happening all across area. But when it comes to a new change, a new process, it is always a hurdle. So you call it any industry, right? Before I get into your question, I'll just let you know about one practical example wherein in my previous organization we brought the computer system long ago. I'm talking about, I've been in the industry almost 29 plus years, and I have seen that when we started adopting the system into our operation processes, wherein we wanted to scan the shipments through a scanner, wanted to utilize the computer system for the manifesting of the processes. The people, those who were there in the ground, were having a fear that what to do. No, we are not going to adopt this. Why? Because it is going to take their job. And that time itself, we started working towards the changing of the mindset of the people, right? We started changing their mindset that how it is going to help you. It is not going to take your job. And we were there in the ground to teaching people and guiding people that no, you will understand the importance of this. Slowly, the adoption process started, and people started using the computer by giving them a training, the basic skills we have given them. And I remember after few years, when suddenly, generator system failed, the electricity has gone, and we have to, since we were in the courier, we were in the logistic, we cannot stop a shipment even for more than 24 hours. We have to ship it. So immediately when we started asking people that you have to do the manifest what you used to do 5 years ago, they were saying, sir, kuch karo, so they don't want to shift to the back process, right? So what I would like to mention here is about the AI is that we need to understand the need of the hour, which is critical for any kind of an organization. And when we speak about the AI, the decision making becomes the problem. Now, how the decision making becomes the problem? Because we still wanted to be part of the old processes. We still believe the process which we follow for so many years are the correct. And today, this technical things which is coming in front of us and sharing the recommendation to us basis on our database only, but still we don't want to believe it. The skill gap where we need to actually work on is that first in the mindset, and then how we can trust on the data, on the recommendation which we are receiving from the AI tool, right? That's the first skill gap what I understand is. Second, as I narrated the story, the resistance to the change. People don't want to, adopt the change immediately. They don't want to get into the things. Why? Because if they will accept the change, they feel that the AI is going to take the job. And I still remember when almost 2000, before 2020, someone says that the AI is going to take the job of HR. And someone asked me that time, the people matters, in fact, that time they asked me, what is your view? I said, nothing is going to happen. No one is going to take the job of HR. But yes, when the AI will come into the system, AI also going to give us some support in terms of taking right decisions, right? They will take over our mundane job. They will take over our HR operations. And we as a HR person will become the HR VPs and will start working on the productivity of the employees, developing of the people, right? So that is what we started thinking of. So resistance of change is going to be, but how we will overcome with that change is going to be the another skills we need to utilize and understand. The biggest part, what I believe, is the lack of knowledge of the data. Still, people in logistic industry, specifically you talk about, there is a huge database available, huge. And the people, those who are from the data industry will definitely agree with me. There is a huge database. But to understand the data, to utilize that data, that understanding is missing somewhere. So either it is at the top, but when it comes to down the level, the understanding is not there. So the gap, we can straight away see that how we need to actually analyze the data. So data analytics becomes the important area where we need to work on, so that at a ground level also, when we were asking the question to Nikhil, in our industry also, when we talk about the last mile people, when we talk about the labor, all these people, how they are going to understand, right? So that becomes another area where people should have a knowledge of data. And nobody share the data, right? So how your AI is going to work? So data people never shares. I still see when we do a lot of compensation benchmarking for the logistics specifically, and when I asked team that please let me know who are the companies who are going to participate. So Zada company, people are not going to participate. Why? Because they still have the fear that someone will take over the data of the organization, they will poach the employees and then they'll take away. So that's a simple example. So even though when we say there is a huge data, but still today organizations feel that the sending data privacy is still going to be a challenge. So we also need to work towards the trust factor so that, those kind of skills can be developed and the data utilization and the AI के साथ जो हमको proper क्या बोलते हैं उसको न्याय करना है, that we can do.
Can we have the events?
I hope I was audible.
Yeah, you are audible. Shiv, you are audible.
So
Yes.
I said that this is how we can, justice to give a justice to the AI. That if you work on these kind of skills, wherein technical skills are definitely required, but the mindset, the thought process, the trust, the decision making, the losing of fear, removing that. If we will work on that, I think we will be able to achieve what we wanted to achieve.
Fantastic answers, Shiv. I love that, when people come and talk from their experience, because a lot of students, a lot of corporates are going to be on this, webinar. And when you said that, nobody shares data, these kind of things, when you get there, you understand that, the fear of sharing things is so real that, people don't love generally to share within teams also. We all have mastered working in silos, right? So something like this is what we are expecting. Shiv, thanks for your wonderful contribution.
Welcome.
My next question is to Dr. Kiranpreet. I love this question. I always loved what is more important, what is mindset, skill set. There's a battle, there is a collaboration. So beautiful. So how do you ensure both mindset and skill set are aligned when preparing employees for an AI adoption?
Very good question, I must say, Viju. I think skills people learn. I mean, there's no dearth of skills available in the market. Mindset is something that you're grown up with a certain set of values, which overnight no one can change, right? You can probably give them certain feedbacks to change their pattern, but usually it's a long game. So a lot of organizations, you hear saying that we're okay, we can teach the skill set, but hey, you know what, come with an open mindset, because that's something we won't be able to work more on. Also, I think it is also because in a lot of corporate setups, we do not work on the soft skills training as much as hard skill training. We just want the work to be done, right? And that's the biggest mistake as organizations we do, because then we are missing on some good talent and not nurturing it and preparing it for the future leaders. So I think it has to be very well balanced, but I would still give more weightage to the mindset.
Absolutely. I also feel that, skill set can be developed. Skills are always changing. Mindset is something which remains static. A very beautiful book called Same as Ever. There are certain things which never change, and we focus
Yeah.
on those and develop on those things. I think skills is like a weapon on those things, and it makes you much, much more sharper in your work. So we come to questions which I would love all of you to contribute, and let's have a synergy where let's debate on certain questions. So one of this question is, what challenges do organizations face in balancing AI automation and psychological safety? It's a very, very important thing. A lot of news, a lot of people getting sacked, a lot of AI new tools coming every day. It's not just I felt psychological safety was a issue with employees or corporates. Now I feel that this has grown beyond employees. It has grown to countries also. A deep seek comes and puts the entire US scared that have we lost it, like are we not doing things right? So how do you see the challenges do organizations face in balancing AI automation with psychological safety? How do you balance this two world? Any of you want to take Yeah, Nikhil.
Yeah, I think this is a very critical question that is haunting a lot of people these days. And talking of psychological safety, people are worried that you might lose your job, or certain sectors, certain roles may become redundant, and they may not be the same because AI can overtake everyone. They can do their role. But I'll tell you what, AI is an enabler. It'll only help you become more efficient, and AI cannot function without the human intervention. And that is one thing that we need to feed in our employees, or in our people, stakeholders mind. We're talking of mindset. So this is one thing that needs to come in, that AI cannot function alone. AI needs somebody to operate it. They need, AI needs some hands behind it. So it's very important. And you're not only going to be losing jobs, but there are more jobs that are going to be coming into the market. That's another thing that we need to look at. So yes, job displacement could be a risk for single solo functional roles, but for those who are in multi-domain roles, or those who have multi-domain knowledges, somebody who's an entrepreneur plus HR plus marketing, you cannot, they're irreplaceable. It's not easy. In fact, these jobs will increase because you will need people to apply different sets of knowledges, different sets of domains, and use AI and make things more efficient. So it's just the way you look at it. If you look at it from a black perspective, half filled glass perspective, half empty glass perspective, and that's how it is. But it's better that we train our people, or train ourselves first, to look at it from a half filled perspective.
Thanks, Nikhil. Deepika?
I would like to add here, as Shiv already mentioned, the people are afraid to share the data. So they are thinking if we will share the data, then the AI will take over the decision making. So decision making, if the AI will take, then what we will do? So that will be the more fear if I am not able to showcase my importance, my decision making, then what will be the use in the organization? So the company will require me really or not? So that will be the again psychological problem or safety the people are facing.
Absolutely. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, let Dr. Kiranpreet go, then I'll go last.
Sure. Dr. Kiran?
So this is something that I keep saying all around, in my office, that do not be hesitant with the AI implementation, because AI is actually going to make everyone leaders, no executioners, very few executioners. The tasks which are like monotonous, those are getting carried away. I mean, the rest remains. Your brainstorming becomes more powerful. Now you can get things done from someone else. So everybody is going to become the leader for tomorrow. Now, to be the leader, of course, there are certain parameters that needs to be fixed in. No temperamental issues, right? So you cannot say, I'm insecure, I don't want the AI to be taking over my job. Oh, shoot, what do I do next? You upskill yourself. Now, there's also, a level of ceiling required. Not everybody needs that kind of an upskilling, right? Somebody who's already at nearing retirement perhaps doesn't need that kind of ceiling, probably just needs to know the very basics, so that the next 4 to 5 years are good, and he has learned something significant which is going to help him grow further after retirement as well, continue doing probably some business out of it or doing something out of it. Then comes the generation Z, which is there, which is quite tech savvy, which is very excited about AI. For them, you give them these projects, they'll be more than happy to read out data for you. They're open to learning, a lot of learning, in fact. Then comes millennials and boomers. I think typically millennials and boomers are the ones who are fighting a battle with AI, who feel that I've been doing this thing from the last 20 years. What do I do next? I mean, I want to continue doing this. There are 10 more years left. Let me do my job. And they're going to be the real learners. So I feel if you give them data, if you give them an understanding, and if you present the right full amount of case studies which help them understand how it impacted, for example, Amazon has invested like $25 billion, okay, in AI, because now wants to get into autonomous vehicle and drone part and the logistics specifically. If we talk about even in UK, a normal grocery, dealer has adopted AI. So how these people who have been the first movers got the wisdom to experiment? How conveniently now they become examples. They're leading with example and setting examples for the rest of the people to adopt it significantly. So I think it's all about how you narrate it, how you make it motivational for them, and then the whole gig becomes a little easy and smooth.
Thank you, Doctor. Yeah, Chef.
Yeah, so it is always a challenge to come in the last because most of the points get covered, but still I have certain things with me which I definitely can talk about. See, any changes bring, any change you bring into the system is not easy one, and every change is a pain. But bringing pain, you get a gain. That's the theory we always need to work, whether it is AI or anything else. I always have been part of a change management, and what I believe is that if you are bringing a change, whether it is AI or anything else or any automation when we talk about, we need to be very transparent when what we are going to talk about and what we are going to bring on the table, because many a times things works like a Chinese whisper. What we discuss and what goes in the ground, it is always a different things. I agree with Dr. Kiran. How you narrate it, how you communicate, basically that becomes very important area for anything which we do, right? So if you don't narrate it properly, if you don't communicate it properly with the clarity in their language, they won't understand. So whether AI give you the right decision making, see, what you feed in AI, that is what you are going to get. So it's like old days, जिन की तरह काम करेगा, जिन को थोड़ा सा घिस दो और बोलो कि भाई हमें ये चाहिए, so then they will bring those things in front of you. So this is how the AI basically works. Secondly, when it comes to organization, when we bring and they need to balance it, they need to literally understand and focusing towards the upskilling of the people, those who are there in the system. We should not straight away start thinking of sacking people immediately. Rather, we can stop recruiting people and focusing on the people who are already there in the system, and to see that where we can put a right candidate to the right place, right? A machine can work, automation can work, but we need a person who can switch on that belt to start, the conveyor belt to start, conveyor belt to work. Like today in loading and unloading field, when you put up a conveyor belt, the labor or the contractor may feel that my tonnage will go down, but they forget that their tonnage will increase. Why? Because the efficiency will start coming in, and then they can double up what they were doing with the lesser number of people, or maybe higher number of people, but their efficiency, the revenue, the cost, further will go up. Another thing which is about your practical and theory. There is always a difference between a practical and theory. So theory is important, but when you go to ground and you see the things are different, right? So if you really need to implement the theory, first you need to understand the practical ground reality. So what kind of AI recommendation do you need from the AI or automation or even a robotic? When we were talking about the robotic, you were mentioning about in the start, the robotic movement, if you're talking about that, how the robot is going to give you help, or whether the robot is going to give you a feeling. If yes, then what kind of feeling do you need, right? So all these aspects, when we start working, whether it is AI, automation or anything else, we will be able to balance. And when we do this activity, we always need to keep the feelings, emotions of the individuals who are associated with you.
Absolutely. I think a lot of interesting comments. Gen AI or AI is not a Aladdin's lamp, right? Or we can say not yet. Nikhil?
I just want to add a point, just to conclude, honestly, we should look at it as AI is here to serve us, serve the humans. Technology is here to serve us, not to compete with us. And once we have that kind of a mindset, we can work hand in hand with AI to increase our efficiencies and the organizational efficiencies. There is absolutely no competition. We cannot compete with AI. They're faster in certain aspects. They definitely are. But they need our help. They need instructions from us. And there are certain aspects which AI cannot deal with: empathy, emotions. There are certain human aspects which the AI is not capable of managing yet. Right. So there is a clear, distinct line, and that is something that we need to be absolutely certain about. Once we have that in mind, I think we can work hand in hand with AI.
Absolutely. Thanks for those interesting comments. My next open question is, what policies and frameworks can help companies ensure ethical AI use of, are there guidelines? What, according to you, is the ethics? That's again a bigger question, right? What is right for you might not be right for the other person. So in that world where we all are working on different large language models, how do you ensure ethical AI usage inside your company?
Shall I?
Yeah, Dr. Kiran.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, so I think there's no such framework so far that has been curated around it. I love this question because this is something that I openly talk about. I've spoken about it in many forums where I emphasize on the need of this. While everybody is talking about AI so much, we're forgetting that you're giving a huge chunk of database to it, right? Which is a lot of us are actually giving data to open AI sources as well. So we have no idea about the repercussions it can bring to us. So I think policy around how the data needs to be used and to what extent can it be used. Policy around, in fact, there will be a new job creation as well. In one of my posts I did mention, which is ethic officer, which is going to ensure that this is not jeopardizing the company's image in any way possible. It is not jeopardizing any individual's image when we're speaking of data, because when it is publishing data, it is publishing it all out, right? It doesn't do filter. It doesn't work like humans. We'll keep half of the things within us and just speak as much as it is required, wherein there, whatever you fetch, you get the outcome point blank clear. So a lot of policies need to be formulated around cyber security, around ensuring that the data is limited to certain sources only, and also the access to it is again limited. And how do you create multiple layers to it, because this is going to be a giant project for a lot of economies, because I do not think any economy across the world is foolproof and is ready with the documents around it.
Thank you. Shiv,
Yeah. So, see, when it comes to framework, although I have not seen any framework as of now, because in India we are not in much of AI. But when it comes to basic policies, which is required, as I said earlier in the second question, that when it comes to change, we need to define the change, right? So suddenly the AI, the biggest factor and the fear is losing the job. So when we are bringing the AI, we have to talk about that how AI is going to give an impact. There won't be a sudden replacement, or there won't be a sudden sackness of the people. They can't sack it. So such kind of policies should have into the system, because many a times when people, I'll just give you example. Many sometimes people or bosses, try to make the bosses happy. So even though it's a silly idea, they will say, yeah, we'll follow it and we'll go ahead it, because that is not impacting themselves, it is impacting to someone else. But since how it is impacting to themselves, because they are making their bosses happy, right? So maybe tomorrow when we bring AI, we may say, yeah, 10, 20, 50 people we can sack immediately, there's no problem, right? But we don't know, maybe after sacking 50 people, we may be losing 50 talent who have been working with you for the company for a long years, right? And sharing their experiences, understanding your organization. So the policies around the certain workforce replacement should be there. In fact, the policy around that, where to invest on a AI training for the people, uh, which area they need to have. It's not necessary that we need to give a training in all aspects, but who are the functions where actually the training is required, the upskilling is required. So maybe policy around that. It should not go haywire situation. Okay, fine. We need, since AI is bringing, call everybody and everybody needs the AI. It's not like that. Okay, so we still I need to look into it. The transparency is required when, as rightly said by Kiran, that when we share some data, we throw some data to AI or generative AI, we don't know what we are sharing and nobody knows about it. Sometimes, normally nowadays, if you see most of them in the LinkedIn, sometime when they post, the common thing which you will observe is that I'm thrilled to announce, I'm excited to announce. And when you see these, words, I immediately stuck that this has been come from the generative AI. Right, so lot of data we push it there, ignoring that we are giving our everything to AI. And rightly said by Deepika, the privacy ka to sawal hi nahi hota hai. You are sharing your own data by your own, right? And AI today capture us like anything, that today you click on, you stick to one post for 3 seconds or 5 seconds, the next post guaranteed is the same post you are going to receive, right? So we need to have transparency that when we are using the AI in our organization, the kind of policy process we should have into the system. And the last but not the least, although there might be more policies we can make it, the grievance model for having the AI into a system. That how are we going to handle the grievances if anything comes related to that? Okay, that is going to be more. So there might be more policies when we go, when we start, when we see. Other policies may also become the part of the framework.
Absolutely. Deepika?
Yeah, I would like to add here, it is not like that we don't have the any kind of policy which will be give the protection or ensure the ethical AI usage. We were having the code of conduct, we are having the data security agreements with the employees. We are having we already started the act which have enforced for the Digital Personal Data Protection Act. So these are the things which is like already in the place and that is already in the system, which will give the protection to the data, that will give the sense to the employees how to utilize the data, how sensible with the data. So that cyber security act, that will be again which we need to give the more awareness, which we need to give the more alignment wherever we are introducing any kind of automation. And that will be a make your life easy. Definitely there might be required the additional policies at the place, but that these are the things which is immediately we have initiated, immediately we have given the idea to our employees. Please be aware, if so and so act or so and so process, then it will be a trouble for you. So that is because the data is very sensitive topic, it will be a damage your business. So it is required the very strong and strict policies, not the very lenient policies which we are already utilizing.
Absolutely, absolutely. In fact, very interesting. So when we, as training company, try training around AI, a lot of companies, what they do is they train about the tools. Tools, application of the tools, great, but their awareness of how this whole thing is going to be used and what are the things we need to be very sure of is lacking in many approaches when various companies goes for training. I'll give you an example of this, that European Union has a very comprehensive framework around AI. And they have, in fact, an act which was, as a policy, they had released last year. And very basic, very simple stuff, which is their risk-based classification. What is a minimum risk? What is a limited risk? What is a high risk? And what is unacceptable risk? So these kind of policies, when we learned that cities have AI policies and countries, European unions have AI policy. So it's very important for all companies to have AI policy. All departments should have a AI policy because this is the new world, and we need to have the new rules for the new world. So thanks for your comments and very interesting take on that. So one more, the last, probably the open, question from my side. What does the next decade look like for HR and talent development? Because as many of us feel that it is going to be AI driven, how do you see HR and talent development getting transformed? Yeah, doctor.
So I think we are moving into an amazing era, which is going to have an amalgamation of, talent and AI with superpower of energy, that these people come up with who are tech savvy. So let me give you an example. Usually in an organization, the normal process of recruitment has always been, an individual calling the potential candidate and asking, are you looking out for a change? Unless you've made a job posting and somebody applies on that application job post. Now, how AI is going to take over, you can do the voiceover of whosoever you want. Could be, any celebrity also making a call and asking the individual the preferred time when, this person is available to take the call, and then ask the very basic questions. You can, of course, upgrade it to the next level as much as you want. And it is not that this is happening for the first time. In fact, I remember using AI during my campus drives 10 years ago. So we would take their video interviews. However, the success rate was fairly less than in comparison to what it will be now, because in generative AI, it requires a lot of data. It reads pattern, and it takes a little bit of time. It's generating data within itself to be able to give you more accuracy in terms of data that you were looking for. So back then, it had become a pain for us. We had to literally go back and look at all the videos because we didn't believe in the results. The potential people that we liked, as per AI, were bad to be employed. And the potential good ones that AI suggested us, we didn't like them. So we had to kind of go back and see, and ensure that maybe this is not the right time. But now, when I took a demo very recently, in fact, I got to know that the accuracy base, the rate has tremendously increased, and it's wonderful to see how we're going about it. Earlier, we used to do archives, we used to maintain, record files of all the employees. We had those compliance issues as well that we were supposed to, ensure that we had the records with us. Now, because the systems are integrating amongst themselves so well, we have the data protected and not necessarily in a server. You don't have to pay for the server. You keep it in the cloud, and that's there forever till the time you want it, right? You're saving on rentals to have a dedicated place where, you have to record these. And also, now you're not scared that probably the page will be faded and you're never going to get the details readable again. Now it's you've saved it for the rest of the life. You can always go back. So I think hiring gets simplified, effectiveness gets simplified because the communication becomes transparent. Now people do not have to wait. Somebody will call back and say whether I'm selected or rejected. In fact, integration with those platforms which are used on a daily basis. For example, WhatsApp. It's a platform. Lot of HR tools you'll see now integrating themselves with WhatsApp, so that you don't have to download a lot of apps. So in the next 10 years, I see technology making things more simpler, because in the last 5 years, we all have been downloading hundreds of apps, right? So I think now we're gonna take a smarter approach, how it becomes easy for HR as well as employees to connect. For instance, they don't have to go to an app to upload a bill. They put it on the WhatsApp, it automatically gets through the app, through the website, and it's recorded. So simplifying it, because technology integration is supposed to simplify things for us, ensuring that we're able to focus on more meaningful things where our contribution is greatest of all. And I think the next 10 years are going to be all about that.
Dr. Kiran, it was a fantastic answer. I love how you connected and made look the future brighter, smarter, and a lot of you can reduce a lot of bias while you are in HR and your approaches. So thanks for a very positive view for the future. Anybody else want to contribute to this? Hi, Nikhil. Yeah.
Yes. So, honestly, the biggest change that's going to be that I foresee is the emergence of hybrid roles. Right? When I'm saying hybrid roles, I mean it's going to be a combination of technical and domain expertise. I think it's going to be important for someone to have domain expertise, but at the same time understand and have AI fluency. So there'll be new career paths, there'll be new jobs that will come up. Yeah, of course, AI will ensure efficiency, but this is something that is going to be the need of the hour, and it's going to bring in a lot of new employment opportunities. Not only that, I think creative problem solving, ethical decision making, cross-functional collaboration will become the most valuable skills, from the human element, because these are things where now human beings will be able to focus more. These are aspects where humans can drive on their own, and AI is not really very sensitive towards certain aspects which humans can drive. These ones that I mentioned. So these, I think the humans will be able to focus more on these aspects, on leadership aspects. Training simulations will be able to, we'll be able to use training simulations, augmented reality for driving performance, for ensuring things people learn quickly. And it's going to be a human-centered automation kind of an approach overall that ensures that technology enhances human potential rather than simply replace workers. That's my take on it.
Thank you. Deepika?
Yeah, definitely. When we are talking about the upcoming years, so there will be a new position, there will be a new roles as per the new technology. So it is not like that the AI will hijack your job, your opportunities in the market. Yes, definitely it will come with the new skills, new set of roles which require in the market. As Dr. Kaur also mentioned here, there is a new position heard in the market. So definitely like a data protection manager, the agents, they are required. So it is very much required to upskill, reskill yourself as per the new trends, new technology. If we are not cope up with the new technology, then it will be we are behind in the market. So it will be a more challenging, more competitive market. So we need to give the more concentration on the upskilling, reskilling, and it will be ongoing process, and it is definitely required the integration of the technology proficiency and each and every role. It cannot be like that earlier stage that particular department is working, so that is sufficient. No, every person in each and every profile, the person has to cope up, has to come up with the proficiency in the technology with the AI. Then only he or she can prove himself or herself in the coming years, and that will be required the more a dynamic role from the side of HR also, because we are the person who has to handle our assets, and we have to provide the platform for the further developments as per the new technology requirement.
Thanks. So we're coming to a closure. We'll take a lot of questions are coming from the audience. Due to the paucity of time, we will take one of these questions. And the question, Shiv or anybody can answer this. What learning strategies have proven most effective in training employees for an AI integrated roles?
What is the question, if you can speak?
What learning strategies have proven most effective in training employees for AI integrated roles?
So I think if you're asking, although I'm not from the learning background, but since it comes to HR, learnings, Nikhil, I think Nikhil has raised the hand. Nikhil, you want to answer? You can.
Nikhil is the person.
Nikhil said a great question. Go ahead.
Yeah, I sort of spoke about it, but yeah, simulation-based training, augmented reality, we're already using it. A lot of train pilots over here, we're using simulation training. The core people who are driving our business, the metro, right? The train, we call them TPs, train pilots. They're the ones who are driving the train, driving the metro. Now, it may not always be practically possible for us to take them to the metro and then drive. That does happen. Driving under supervision, all that does happen. But prior to that, we have a good intensive 64 days of training. So simulation-based training is also something that we focus on a lot, right? And in addition to that, For such roles, I think simulation-based training, augmented reality is very, very crucial going forward and even now. And even otherwise, I think micro-learning is the need of the hour, is something that should be looked at, because the span of attention has drastically reduced of all learners across the industry. And it's important that we create content in such a way, which kind of has micro-learning or short 5-minute videos, 5-minute simulations, 5-minute activity-based animations, etc., which enhance these learning capabilities and ensure that people learn faster.
And I can add on to Nikhil's point that I remember when I was with my previous company, when simulations came into the picture, that how we can ensure that we have, maximum attempt of delivery at the doorstep without any error. So that has become very important part of us to how to educate people, because many a times, whether it is English or any other language you use, sometimes people don't understand that, and you can't use the jargon words. So you have to showcase them a movie kind of a scenario, a gamification kind of a scenario where people can go and play a game. So I remember we worked with the company, I will not name it here, but we worked with the company closely, and we ensured that we got a simulation. When people go for a delivery, they used to know that where they are going wrong. And before that, if they forget, many a times what happens, what you train, people always still understand training as whenever they go for a 2 days training, they still feel that it's a holiday to enjoy. But later, after 2 days, 3 days, they forget everything. So we ensure that whatever we will do, we will ensure that they will practically will use it, and it will be kept in their database whenever it is required, and it will pop up if they are doing any kind of a mistake. So if there is a door, they will face a camera towards the door, and they will ensure that they are doing the right things or not, right? So there are a lot of such initiatives been taken in terms of the learning in all the aspects.
Fantastic, Shiv. So as we wrap today's discussion, there are some very interesting key takeaways for us to have this evening. And AI and data analytics, the trust factor in workforce transformation, right? Shiv said that AI success in logistics and supply chain depends on data accuracy and transparency. What you feed into AI is what you get out of it. Very, very interesting point. Bias and how AI future is looking. Dr. Kiranpreet touched on that. That how the coming times where we talk about psychological safety of today's time, and people are scared of what is going to happen to their jobs. She gave us insight to how things are going to be very efficiently being managed, and how the basic work is going to be like to handle those tools and get better results, get into more decision making roles rather than getting into more operational challenges. Nikhil had a wonderful insight around learning and development. He was talking very clear that AI does not replace his jobs, it shapes them. While automation may reduce repetitive tasks, it will also create demand for multiple skilled professional learning. It was a very wonderful interaction. Deepika had very strong views around policy making, and there are policies which are there, which is going to define, already defined, and we just have to adjust these policies to work with this new age technology. So thank you all for joining us today. We look forward to see you at our future discussions. Have a great evening ahead. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Viju.
Thank you, everyone.
everyone. Thank you. Bye-bye.